I just thought I'd do a quick analysis of Tiger Woods' swing from 2015 on the left and 2000 on the right. On the right was I think it was the Deutsche Bank SAP Open in Germany, which was the first tournament to use the Nike ball, I believe. Um, a lot of people have done analysis on Tiger Woods' swing, and I agree with some of it. Some of it I don't agree with. I think a lot of the things he's doing now are better in some ways than 2000, but there's other parts of his swing that have disimproved. This is just my take on it. Uh, on the left here, he's hitting a 7 iron, I believe, and on the right, it's a 6 iron. They're almost the same club, so I think it's a good way of comparing each swing. If you look at the swing on the left, his hands are behind his neck if I draw a straight line up there. Whereas you look on the right, if I draw a line up from the, say, his right thumb again, it's much more in front of him. It's kind of hitting his head here, which he looks to me like he's got more room on the right hand side there to swing his arms. He looks a little bit more cramped on the left. Right, moving on to his backswing here. I think in some ways that's a better position than what he was in 2000. I mean, it's more on plane on the left hand side compared to the right, but where I think if I bring it back 2 or 3 frames, you'll start to see where there's a difference. The way his arms and hands are more in front of him here on the right hand side. They're much closer to his right leg on the left, behind his neckline. They're more in front of his neckline here on the right hand side. At the top in 2015 is a little bit more on plane, in my opinion. But then, now a lot of people talk about his head dropping. I don't mind a certain amount of dropping myself, but sometimes he can get a little bit excessive. But I think his lower body is actually at fault in this swing here anyway. If you look at his position here halfway down, and look at the amount of flex in his legs compared to, say, over here on the right, try and just get those in the exact same position. He's definitely got more flex on the left hand side here. If I draw a line down the front of his legs, see the way they're almost halfway between his feet and the ball? If I do the same on the right hand side, it's much closer to his toe line. So he's definitely losing height in his lower body, in my opinion. So he's losing room, I think, to swing his arms. And you'll see that now as he approaches the ball. If I stop him here and try and get him close as I can on the left hand side to that same position, which would be about roughly there. If you look again, if I just clear that screen, if you again draw a line up from his left knuckle up through his head, kind of dissects his ear, somewhere around there. If I do the same on the right hand side, through his left hand knuckle, draw a line up, try and get that straight as I can. Roughly, sorry, just there. It's definitely more under his nose, more under his eye line than it is on the left hand side. So his arms are definitely more in front of him. And if I bring it to impact, Again, if I get rid of the lines and redraw them. There we go, and then up through his right thumb again. I don't know if you can see it that well, but his hands are definitely further away from his body on the right hand side compared to the left hand side. His hands are very close in here to his legs. There's a little bit more room here between his hands and his legs here on the right hand side. His shoulders to me look a little bit more level on the right hand side compared to tilted here. And his head, I don't know if you can see there, his head is dropped almost level with his left shoulder on that side, the left hand side. Whereas if I draw the top of his head and draw a line across, he looks taller to me on the right hand side there. Again, just more room to swing his arms. And you see through impact here. If I bring them maybe back one frame. No. If you look at the angle of his shoulders, say here on the left, they're very vertical, very square, much more open here on the left hand, on the right hand side, his old swing. And again, he's got more room between his hands and his body. He looks like he's cramped and running out of room here on the left hand side. His finish is pretty similar. The other thing I think I see a difference between his 2000 swing and the way he swings it in the last few years is his transition from the top is much sloppier than it was in his old swing. He's lost a lot of solidity in the transition area from the year 2000. He was definitely a lot more solid. I might do another video on that sooner or later. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that little analysis, and leave any comments if you feel free to do that. Cheers.